So let's just start with Melissa Dillon. Honestly, what is this girl even doing right now? We have been watching this show for a long time, and we have seen some incredibly bold moves, but Dillon is really pushing it to the absolute limit. She actually followed Will Spencer back to the beach house after that whole massive disaster at the bikini bar. You guys remember that, right? When Will got into that huge physical brawl with R.J. Forrester and accidentally punched Eric Forrester right in the face. Yeah, that actually happened. And Will has been spiraling in this dark, drunken depression ever since Elektra Forrester dumped him and moved out. But Dillon sees a vulnerable guy and she just pounces. The timeline says she kissed him and slept right next to him on the sofa. But she is acting like it was the most romantic night of her life. Now she is going around telling Will that they have to keep this a total secret. She says she doesn't want to lose her job at Forrester Creations. But then she turns around and brags to her co-worker Jessica about it. She tells Jessica it was just a kiss, but you can tell she is hoping for so much more to happen. She wants to seal the deal next time. She is totally plotting to make Will her boyfriend. And we are just watching this thinking, girl, are you out of your mind? Dillon really thinks she is the main character right now. She is acting like she and Will had this epic, passionate night of romance. But let's look at the facts. Will was drunk, depressed, and mourning the loss of his relationship with Elektra. Dillon followed him home like a lost puppy. She kissed him, sure, but then they just fell asleep on the sofa. That is not a sweeping romance. That is a sad, pathetic rebound attempt. But Dillon is twisting the narrative in her own head. She is telling Jessica it was just a kiss, but her eyes are sparkling with ambition. She wants the Spencer money, the Spencer name, and the status that comes with it. She is a total social climber, and Elektra sees right through her. And Elektra is not stupid. The spoilers for Wednesday, July 29th show that Elektra is going to lay down some serious boundaries with Dillon. Elektra knows exactly what is up. She either overheard Dillon bragging to Jessica or she just put the pieces together because Dillon has been acting so weird and showing up late. Elektra is going to tell Dillon straight to her face that she needs to back off immediately. If Dillon wants to keep working for Elektra on the jewelry line and keep their friendship intact, she has to respect the boundaries. Honestly, it is so great to see Elektra finally standing up for herself. She just went through this horrible, traumatic breakup with Will because he lied to her about Hope Logan defecting to Logan Creations, and then he got violent. So Elektra is already completely on edge. She does not have the patience for Dillon's sneaky little games. But you really have to wonder if Dillon even cares about her job at Forrester anymore. Maybe she is trying to get fired on purpose. Okay, maybe that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. Think about it for a second. If Elektra fires her, Dillon can just run crying to Will, and Will is a Spencer. His dad, Bill Spencer, and his mom, Katie Logan, just launched this massive new fashion house, Logan Creations. They literally stole Hope and the hope for the future Diamond to launch Hope by Logan. It was a huge corporate coup that left everyone shocked. So, if Dillon gets fired, she probably thinks Will can just get her a cushy job over at Logan. She is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Or maybe she's just really dumb. We can't decide halfway through this thought, to be honest. Let's be real. Will was put in an impossible situation by his family. Katie and Bill basically forced him to keep the secret about Hope defecting to Logan. They swore him to secrecy. And Will, being the loyal Spencer's son that he is, kept his mouth shut. But that meant lying to Elektra, the woman he loves. Elektra runs the jewelry line at Forrester, and she was completely blindsided when Hope launched her new brand and stole all the media attention from Eric's haute couture show. Elektra felt so betrayed by Will's silence. And you know what? We can't even blame her. Trust is everything in a relationship, and Will broke that trust. But did he really have a choice? It was a lose-lose situation for him. But Wyatt Spencer already warned Will about this exact thing. A few episodes ago, Wyatt sat Will down and gave him a harsh reality check. Wyatt told him that Spencer and Forrester relationships are toxic. They always fail. Just look at their family history. It is a complete mess. Wyatt told Will he is playing a very dangerous game by messing around with Dylan while he still clearly loves Elektra. Because Dylan is Elektra's friend, or at least she was. And when the truth comes out, it is going to be explosive. Wyatt is totally right. Who actually believes this is going to end well? Nobody. So Will is just a mess. He is drowning in guilt. He hates that he lied to Elektra about the corporate secrets. He hates that he punched Eric. And now he has Dylan breathing down his neck, trying to be his rebound. It is just sad. Will is a good guy deep down, but he is making terrible choices right now. And Dylan is taking advantage of him when he is weak and drunk. It is not a good look for her at all. And let's circle back to RJ for a second. RJ is the real villain in this younger generation storyline. If you ask us, he has been pining for Elektra for months. He couldn't stand seeing her happy with Will, so what does he do? He goes to the bikini bar and intentionally provokes a heavily intoxicated Will. He grabs Will by the collar. He starts the physical altercation, and when Will swings, RJ intentionally ducks, knowing full well that his grandfather Eric is standing right behind him. It was a calculated, vicious move. And now RJ gets to play the hero, comforting Elektra while Will is treated like a violent criminal. It is sickening how well RJ's plan worked, and Dylan is just riding the coattails of that chaos. The corporate stakes are just as high as the personal ones right now. Forrester Creations is bleeding. Eric's highly anticipated return to haute couture was completely overshadowed by the hope by Logan launch. Ridge is furious. He fired Will. He kicked Donna out of the executive office just because she kept Katie's secret. The Forrester family is closing ranks and demanding absolute loyalty. So for Elektra, staying with Will was basically career suicide. Ridge gave her a brutal ultimatum: cut ties with Will or lose everything at Forrester. Elektra chose her family and her career. And honestly, it was the smart move, but it left Will completely broken, which opened the door for Dylan's sneaky little infiltration. But speaking of terrible choices and opportunistic people, let's shift gears and talk about Sheila Carter. Because oh my gosh, you guys, the hospital scenes coming up are going to be absolutely wild. So Sheila is completely desperate right now. She signed the divorce papers to free Deacon Sharp, and she told everyone that this proves she has changed for the better. Deacon actually believes her. Deacon is so naive. It actually hurts to watch, but we all know Sheila hasn't changed. She is faking this sane, reformed act in public, but in private, she is losing her mind. She is obsessively stroking photos of Finn. She is completely unhinged. And Taylor Hayes already told Sheila that she is not going to help her. Taylor refused to ask Steffy for supervised visitation with Hayes, so Sheila decides to take matters into her own hands. She bypasses Taylor and ambushes Steffy directly at the hospital, and this is where it gets crazy. Sheila actually drops to her knees. She drops to her knees right in front of Steffy Forrester Finnegan. She puts on this huge, dramatic theatrical performance. She gives this long, exhausting speech about how she just wants to fit in. She begs Steffy for another chance. She pleads with her to just let her be a part of the family. And Steffy is just standing there, completely in shock. I mean, what do you even do when the psychopathic serial killer who shot you and your husband in a dirty alleyway is suddenly groveling at your feet? Steffy is furious at first, obviously. She rages at Sheila. She tells her absolutely not. Steffy has severe PTSD from everything Sheila has done to her and her loved ones. She refuses to let Sheila anywhere near Finn or Hayes, and honestly, we are totally on Steffy's side here. Who wouldn't be? Sheila is a monster. She has terrorized the Forrester family for decades. She should be locked away in prison forever, not begging for playdates with her grandson in a hospital hallway. But here is the twist that is driving everyone crazy. The spoilers say that Sheila's words actually make Steffy stop and think. Steffy actually contemplates giving Sheila a chance. What? What were the writers thinking? Why would Steffy ever, in a million years, consider this? It makes absolutely no sense based on everything they have been through. Let's just unpack this for a second. Maybe Steffy is just exhausted. She is dealing with so much right now. Hope just betrayed Forrester Creations and launched her own line at Logan. Eric's Haute Couture show was a disaster because of the media frenzy around Hope. Rich is on a warpath against the Spencers. The whole company is in crisis mode. Steffy is working around the clock doing extreme damage control. She is stressed to the maximum limit. So maybe, just maybe, Steffy is so worn down that she thinks giving Sheila a tiny inch might just make her go away. Like, if she throws Sheila a bone and agrees to some supervised visits, maybe Sheila will stop stalking them? But that is the worst logic ever. If you give Sheila Carter an inch, she will take a mile. She will take your whole life. She will literally try to kill you. Steffy knows this, so why is she hesitating? Watching this storyline is just exhausting. Steffy is usually so strong and fierce. She is a powerhouse CEO who takes no prisoners, but right now she is vulnerable. And Sheila knows exactly how to prey on vulnerability. Just like Dylan is preying on Will, Sheila is preying on Steffy's exhaustion. It is a running theme this week, I guess. Everyone is just taking advantage of everyone else when they are down. And we really have to talk about Finn's role in all of this. John Finnegan is a sweet guy, but he is so incredibly weak when it comes to his birth mother. He already promised Steffy that he would be loyal. He promised to put their family first and keep Sheila away permanently. But the spoilers have been heavily foreshadowing that Finn is going to betray Steffy again. He is going to cave to Sheila's emotional manipulation because he always does. If Steffy actually shows a moment of weakness and considers Sheila's plea, Finn is going to jump on that immediately. He is going to push Steffy to say yes. And that is going to be the biggest mistake of his life. Because the minute Sheila is back in their lives, the sin marriage is doomed. Steffy will never truly feel safe in her own home. And the moment Sheila feels slighted, she will snap. She will go back to her murderous ways. It is just a ticking time bomb. And we can't talk about Sheila without bringing up Lee Finnegan. Lee saved Finn's life when Sheila shot him. Lee hates Sheila with a burning passion. If Steffy actually caves and lets Sheila back into their lives, how is Lee going to react? Lee is going to absolutely lose her mind. She will probably declare war on Steffy and Finn both. The family dynamics are already so fragile, and introducing Sheila back into the mix is like throwing a grenade into a glass house. Finn is going to be caught between his wife, his adoptive mother, and his psychopathic birth mother. It is a recipe for a complete disaster. I just can't believe we are back here again. How many times are we going to do this dance with Sheila? The fans on social media are exhausted. We want fresh storylines, not the same old Sheila terrorizing Steffy plot that we have seen 100 times. But I guess the drama brings in the ratings, so here we are, watching the same cycle repeat itself. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger pattern here. The writers love to put Steffy in these impossible situations. She always has to be the strong one protecting her family from threats. But this time, it feels different. It feels like Steffy is actually cracking under the immense pressure. The corporate war with Logan is taking a huge toll on her mental health. She is fighting Hope, she is fighting Katie, she is fighting Bill, and now she has to fight Sheila on her knees in the hospital. It is just way too much for one person to handle. And what about Taylor? Taylor is dating Deacon now. Deacon is Sheila's ex-husband. Sheila only signed those divorce papers because she has an ulterior motive. She wants Deacon back, and she wants Taylor gone. If Steffy lets Sheila into the family, she is basically giving Sheila a front row seat to destroy Taylor's life. Sheila is probably plotting to eliminate Taylor right now as we speak. Steffy has to see that, right? She has to protect her mother from this psychopath. So we really hope Steffy comes to her senses. We hope she looks down at Sheila groveling on the floor and says, "Nice try, but absolutely not." She needs to call security and have Sheila thrown out of the hospital immediately. But the fact that she is even weighing the risks, that she is even considering a life-changing decision like this, has us so stressed out. It is just unbelievable. And back to Elektra and Dylan for a minute. We just really hope Elektra sticks to her guns. Dylan is a snake in the grass. She is supposed to be Elektra's friend, but she is sneaking around with Will the second Elektra turns her back. Elektra needs to fire her. She needs to kick her out of Forrester Creations and tell her to go find a job at Logan if she wants to be a Spencer groupie so badly. There is no room for that kind of betrayal in business or friendship. But Will is going to have to face the music eventually. He can't just hide in the beach house drinking and feeling sorry for himself forever. He has to take accountability for punching Eric. He has to apologize to Elektra, even if she never takes him back, and he has to tell Dylan to get lost. He needs to realize that Dylan is just using him for his name and his connections. It is time for Will to grow up and take control of his life before he loses everything. Honestly, this whole week has been an absolute roller coaster. Between the Logan fashion show dropping a bomb on the industry, Hope's massive betrayal, Eric's black eye, and now Sheila begging on her knees, it is just non-stop chaos. We have been analyzing these spoilers for hours trying to make sense of all this drama, and it is just a lot to process. But that is exactly why we love this show, right? The messy, chaotic, never-ending drama keeps us coming back for more. So what do you guys think? Do you think Steffy is actually going to give Sheila another chance? Do you think she is going to risk her family's safety just because Sheila put on a good theatrical show? And what about Elektra and Dylan? Is Dylan going to respect the boundaries, or is she going to keep chasing Will until she ruins everything completely? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We are going to take a breath and prepare for whatever crazy twist the writers throw at us next. Until then, stay bold and beautiful.